1,000 were printed and sold, and they were very. Those are now very rare and cost thousands to buy now, the original ones. And the first postal service that ordinary people could use was in 1840, when the public postal deliveries began. Before that, only the very rich people could afford to send anything in the post office. And the new post office was able to offer a penny stamp. Penny, go figure. These could, because the new railways were being built, and they could carry much more post than the horse and carriage that had been used. Cards became more popular in the UK when they could be posted in an unsealed envelope for 1/2 penny. As printing methods improved, of course, Christmas cards became more popular and were produced in large numbers from about 1860. In 1870, the cost of sending a postcard and a Christmas card dropped to 1/2 penny. Wow. An engraved card by the artist William Egley, he illustrated some of Charles Dickens's books, is on display in the British Museum. By the early 1900s, the custom had spread over Europe and became popular, especially in Germany. Go figure. The first cards had usually had pictures of the nativity scene, and in late Victorian times, robins and snow scenes became popular. In those times, the postmen were nicknamed Robin Postmen because of the red uniforms they wore. Snow scenes because they reminded people of the very hard winters. Christmas cards appeared in the U.S. in the late 1840s, but were very expensive and most people couldn't afford them. In 1875, Louis Prang, a printer who came from Germany, but who also had worked on the early cards in the UK, started mass producing cards so more people could afford to buy them. His first cards featured flowers, plants, and children. In 1915, John C. Hall and 2 of his brothers, of course, created Hallmark cards, the biggest card makers today. Of course they are. And the very first personalized Christmas card was sent in 1891 by Annie Oakley. Go figure. The famous sharpshooter and star of the Buffalo Bills Wild West show. She was in Scotland at Christmas and sent cards back to her friends and family in the U.S., featuring a photo of her on it. There you go. As she was in Scotland, she was wearing a tartan, and Annie reportedly designed the cards herself. By the 1910s and 20s, homemade cards became popular. Let's see. Nowadays, cards have all sorts of pictures on them. Winter, Santa Claus, romantic scenes of life and pastimes. And charities often sell their own Christmas cards. So very cool. And now they have the pop-up ones. Those are very cool too. Okay. Do you know what Chris Tingles are? I haven't a clue. This is a tradition. It's a Chris Tingle. It came from a church in Germany in 1700s. The minister gave children of the service a lighted candle with a red ribbon around it. Okay. The customs went around the world with the church. Missionaries brought the church to England in the 1700s. They're called Moravian churches. The Christingle service usually held on Sunday before Christmas or on Christmas Eve. Over the years, the symbolism of the Christingle grew into what's known as Christingle today. Here's what different parts of the Christingle represent. It's what it is. It's a candle in an orange, okay? The orange is round like the world. The candle stands tall and straight and gives light in the dark. The red ribbon goes all around the world and is symbol. The 4 sticks point in all directions and symbolize north, south, east, and west. And they represent also the 4 seasons. And the fruits and nuts that are on the toothpicks, basically the sticks that go around, or sweets, represent the fruits of the earth. That's a Chris Tingle, and it's a give kids fire. I know, it's safe, right? So the word Christingle could have come from different places. It might be an English version of Christkindl, meaning Christ child. It could be the putting together the words Christmas and Ingle. Ingle is a Scot word for fire. There you go. There you go. See? Ingle is a Scot word for fire. So Christingle. There you go. Wow. They originally did come from Germany, though. So there you go. Yes. There's a New Year's Day tradition in Wales, which dates back to the Middle Ages, called Canolig. Children would go around houses singing songs and rhymes and wishing people good luck for the new year. They would hope to get money and treats in return. Some adults would go very early in the morning or night on January 1st and sing loudly. People would also carry a Canolig apple. Of course, same thing as the orange. So, some were made into tripods with an apple so it could stand up and decorated with nuts, cloves, and grapes. Do you remember in school? I don't know if you guys did this, but we did this, and it was the worst thing in the world. I remember one year in school. Of course, you always make Christmas decorations for the home. Remember that, like in elementary school and that. I remember these oranges, and we decorated them and then put cloves in them, and they were supposed to be like scented, like for your drawers. But you decorated these oranges, and then, you know, they're supposed to go in your drawer or something, make your stuff smell good. Yeah, no. Oranges rot, people. Of course, they didn't tell you that, you know, when you're in elementary school. So, there you go. My dad keeps bringing that up to this day about those rotten oranges. I didn't do it. They thought it was a good idea at the time. So, do you remember, you know, yeah, we did that in school. Well, I think we all remember making the garland with the paper, red and green paper, and making the rings. We thought that was pretty cool too, right? Christmas crackers. You know what Christmas crackers are, right? They're a traditional Christmas favorite, of course, in the UK and here. They were made in 1800s by a London sweet maker called Tom Smith. He had seen the French bonbon sweets, almonds wrapped in pretty paper. He came back to London and tried selling sweets like that in England, and included a small riddle or motto in with it, but they didn't sell well. However, one night when he was sitting in front of his log fire, he became very interested in the sparks and cracks coming from the fire. Suddenly he thought what a fun idea it would be if his sweets and toys could be opened with a crack when their fancy wrappers were pulled in half. When Tom died, his expanding cracker business was taken over by his three sons. They introduced the hats into crackers, and he also traveled around the world looking for new ideas to put gifts in the crackers. They built up a big range of themed crackers. There were ones for bachelors, spinsters. There were also some for suffragettes, if you remember, the women who campaigned to get the vote, war heroes, and even Charlie Chaplin. Crackers were also made for special occasions like coronations. The British royal family still has special crackers made for them today. You must have. In elementary school, you cut school, Valerie. I don't think so. Very expensive crackers were made, such as the Millionaire crackers, which contained a solid silver box with a piece of gold and jewelry inside. Ooh, I'd like one of those. Cracker manufacturers also made large displays, such as horse-drawn carriages and sleighs for the big shops in London. The Christmas crackers that are used today are short cardboard tubes wrapped in colorful paper. There's normally a cracker next to each plate on the Christmas dinner table. When the crackers are pulled with a bang, a colorful party hat, a toy, or gift, and a festive joke falls out. The party hats look like crowns, and it's thought they symbolize the crowns worn by the wise men. I like Christmas crackers. I think those are pretty cool. Why are the Christmas colors like red, green, and gold? Apparently, a little juvenile. She was a little juvenile back in grade school. Okay. The colors basically associated with Christmas are red, green, and gold. But why those colors? Why were those colors picked? Most colors and their meaning come from the Western Northern European traditions and customs. When Christmas is in the middle of winter and it's dark and cold. Yeah, like today. Little juvie. Evergreen plants like holly, ivy, and mistletoe have been used for thousands of years to decorate and brighten up buildings during the long, dark winter. They also reminded people spring would come and winter wouldn't last forever. Sometimes I wonder, right? Seems like it lasts forever. The Romans would exchange evergreen branches during January as a sign of good luck. And ancient Egyptians used to bring palm branches into the house during the midwinter festivals. Paradise plays were performed in the Middle Ages, often on Christmas Eve. And they told Bible stories because for people who couldn't read. The paradise tree in the Garden of Eden in the play was normally a pine tree with red apples tied to it. So there you go. Color red. The early use of red at the Christmas were the apples on the paradise tree. It is also the color of holly berries, which is said to represent the blood of Jesus. Red is also the color of the bishop's robes. Gold is the color of the sun and light, both very important in the dark winter. And both red and gold are colors of fire that you need to keep warm. And traditionally, the gold it's the color used to show the star, or silver even now. White, it's often associated with purity and peace, and the snow. White paper wafers were also sometimes used to decorate the paradise trees. The color blue is associated with Mary. And in medieval times, blue dye and paint was more expensive than gold. So it was only worn by royal families. Blue also represents the color of the sky in heaven. So there you go. Those are why we have the colors. Sheldon's sleeping. He's snoozing. Keep him warm. It's freaking cold. I was going to bring. What about fruitcake? What do you guys think about fruitcake? Yuck. I think that's got to be the worst Christmas present ever. Somebody giving you a fruitcake. I've tried it. No. Oh, that turned out well. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Just Christmas traditions. Fruitcake, anyone? Anybody like fruitcake? Nope, not I. Yeah, me either. Yuck. I don't know who came up with that fruitcake business, but it's ridiculous. What about Christmas pudding? Like in the Christmas, the Christmas pudding. It's a traditional end to the British Christmas dinner. But what we think of as Christmas pudding is not what it was. Yeah, I agree. So, thank you.